One thing that I felt worked against James Click, because we're sitting here having this conversation now, and we'll get through some of the text here, 713-780-3776 on the HRP listener line as we go forward with the show. But it's split. I think it's, 50-50, 60-40, pass-fail, whatever side you want to be on. One thing that, in my opinion, works against James Click with the way the deadline went down was the timing of the deadline. The fact that you make 3 trades on August 1st, and then you also say, back when you're having the media scrum, that you're going to have another move coming, basically. Now, he did trade for Jake Odorizzi, to Brendan's point yesterday, so there still was something else coming along.
Right.
I think that the timing of when he made the trades affects the public opinion of the Astros at the deadline. If the Astros do nothing on August 1st, they don't trade for Mancini, they don't trade for Vasquez, they don't get Jake Odorizzi out of town for a left-handed specialist. If all those things don't happen on August 1st, but they all happened yesterday within an hour of the deadline, I think that everybody feels like the Astros pass and or have a lot better opinion of it than they did based on the way the timing went down this year.
Again, we discussed this late in the show yesterday when we thought there was at least one more move coming, and I compared it to previously when they traded the Miles Straw. Everybody said, well, there's got to be one more move coming, and it was right up before the deadline, and then there was that everybody was looking at, well, how long do they have? And then it was a half-hour grace period, and everybody kept waiting and holding their breath. And I was on the air with Creighton, and we were like, no, there's got to be another move. And when there wasn't, it was like somebody let all the air out of the balloon.
Yep.
And I think that that's the same way. You're absolutely right. That's why everybody felt a certain way yesterday at 5:30 when they realized there wasn't any more coming. And then when it was verified and validated by Click in his press conference when he said we tried, but we didn't. Because there was people that still had this obnoxiously, hopeful attitude of, nope, I still think there's a chance that we don't know about it yet, but it's there. And I think that because they made the moves they made a day early, you're absolutely right. That because they didn't, because of the point that I made about that they didn't give up the resources you thought you were going to have to give up to get some of the pieces you got back, that there was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. They're going to do one, if not 2 more things. Center field, relief pitching, something else. They're going to do it. And when they didn't, everybody was like, man, they screwed this up.
The timing certainly worked against James Click, but it also shows you that James Click's not worried about the public perception. Like, whatever. Like, it matters nothing. If you make the 3 trades August 1st, where, I wish they would have done more. You make the 3 trades yesterday, an hour to go in the deadline. Oh, yeah, I love the aggression for the Houston Astros. The timing influences, I believe, the public opinion of how the Astros handled the trade deadline. 9982. Don't understand the obsession with game calling. I don't understand the obsession with going after big-name player at the trade deadline. We have all witnessed what a mess Daryl Morey left the Rockets with because of his lust of big-name stars and giving all draft capital. Don't want James Click to do that with the farm system, so I'm going to give him a pass. Here's the other thing, too. Like, people that don't love the Mancini. Well, I wanted Josh Bell. They don't love the Christian Vasquez. I wanted Wilson Contreras. They never finished the thought. Like, it's very easy to say, yeah, Wilson Contreras greater than Christian Vasquez. It's very easy to say Josh Bell greater than Trey Mancini. But that's not the story. The story is Trey Mancini for Jose Siri, a prospect that's probably never going to play on the big leagues, versus Josh Bell and let's just say Hunter Brown, or Josh Bell for Pedro Leon. So, like, you're not completing the story whenever you just stop yourself. I'd rather have Bell than Mancini. Okay, well, finish the thought.
Would
you
rather lose Urquidy in the process too?
Exactly.
Because that's something you have to factor in. You're absolutely right. I mean, look, it's one thing to say, well, instead of Mancini, I wanted Bell. Well, were you willing to give up Urquidy and others in order to get him, and he's a rental? Because now with the rentals that you have and the fact that you hardly had to give up anything to get them, you're in a much better position to do whatever you need to do next season, and you still have resources that you thought you were going to lose to maybe even get something else done. Whereas if you did the moves that you wanted, that you expected, that would have gotten you the ability to give it a pass, you might fail in the offseason and going forward because you lost too much in the process.
It's not Josh Bell versus Trey Mancini. It's Trey Mancini and, let's say, Jose Urquidy versus Josh Bell, and you're losing her. Like, you're keeping Urquidy in the sense that you have Trey Mancini. So, like, you're basically taking Trey Mancini and Jose Urquidy and trading away Jose Siri and some other prospect. But if you bring in Josh Bell and now you have to trade a Jose Urquidy, you're in a worse spot. So it's not Bell versus Mancini.
Hey guys, back to the video in just 1 minute. Before that, I want to tell you about Fitz Roofing. If you got a leaky roof or need a full roof replacement on your business or your home, and or you want to get something done around the yard or maybe something around the house, they have the best warranties in the business, the best ratings, and the best service. They're going to take care of you every step of the way. Fitz Roofing, making a difference, one home at a time.
8437, passed with a 70 out of 100. I still feel that Bell was the right choice over Mancini. We just talked about that. Given how Gurriel has been lately, I didn't think Mancini's enough of an upgrade over him. Bell would have been a clear upgrade. Here's the thing there. Like, you're bringing in Mancini, and this is something we've been talking about for a month. It's so it covers your bases all over the field. It covers your Look, Yuli's been great in the last 30 days. We were bashing Yuli Gurriel up until the last 30 days, and rightfully so. He was terrible until the last 30 days. But the last 30 days, he looks like the batting champion from a year ago. He's hitting over 300 in his last 32, 117 plate appearances. So you're not trading really Mancini to replace Gurriel because he's been really good for over the last month of the season. But he gives you an option in case Yuli goes back in the tank. He gives you an option in case Michael Brantley's Jeff Bagwell shoulder never gets better. And he also gives you a shot in right field in case you want to tinker with the idea of moving Kyle Tucker to center.
The versatility is something we've talked about over and over again as the main reason that you convinced me and we became the Muppet Show guys in the balcony telling everybody how wrong they were and how Mancini should be at the top of the list. Here's the other factor that we haven't spoken about yet, and that is for all those people that wanted Bell over Mancini, the other thing is whoever you got was going to be expected to perform and to be able to not only fit in the locker room and on the field, but fit in from the performance standpoint of knowing the American League and, more importantly, knowing the best teams that you're going to have to go up against. Trey Mancini played in the American League East. He knows the Yankees like the back of his hand. Yeah. If you play the Blue Jays, he knows them too. He knows the pitchers. He knows what they throw him. He knows exactly how to approach it. Bell coming in is not going to be the same. And there's going to be an adjustment period. And he's going to have to learn the pitchers. And I think that maybe that wasn't as big a factor as some of the other things we talked about, but it definitely had to factor in. You got a guy with experience against the number one competition you have to win the American League in the New York Yankees, and he knows them, and he knows their pitching staff.
That's a factor. It's a factor. He's seen it. 7.565 Branham chill with being so defensive all the time. I think he's talking about the defense. Maybe not. You sound like Adam Clanton. I wouldn't know about that. I'm not really listening to that program.
I can assure you that you don't sound like that guy.
But, yeah, to each their own. I'm not over at the cardiac arrest. 713-780-ESPN. 0189 says Vasquez can DH too. Are we forgetting that? I don't.
Both of them can.
I don't see Vasquez as a DH, though, because you have, right now, you have Jordan and you have Mancini that are both going to be competing for starts there. Okay. You still have Diaz, who's performing very well. Mm-hmm. And if Michael Brantley returns, like, you don't have a lot of DH at-bats to go around.
But on the flip side, think of the guys we've seen in the DH position this year. And tell me that he isn't an upgrade over a majority of the guys. He's better than Chaz in the DH position.
Some people love Chaz.
I don't care who some people are.
Some people love Chaz against lefties.
I think when you look at the numbers and you realize what kind of an offensive weapon you could have with Vasquez, I think that Vasquez is better than Dubon offensively.
Sure.
I think Vasquez is better than Chaz. I think Vasquez, look, I'm not going to say he's better than Diaz because Diaz has been huge.
He's been on fire.
But he's going to be needed in so many different areas. He's not going to be DHing because until Brantley comes back and with giving guys off in the infield and doing all the things Dusty does, he's going to be somewhere playing a position on the field.
I believe, like, I was thinking about this on the drive in today. Mm-hmm. Mancini's one of the best, 7 offensive players on this team, and I would say Christian Vasquez is one of the best 7 offensive players on this team. So you traded for 2 top 7 offensive guys on this team. However Dusty deploys them, we'll see. But like Jose Altuve, I should start the conversation with Yordan Alvarez if I'm being completely honest. But Yordan's on that list, Altuve's on that list, Bregman's on that list. Yuli right now, the way he's hitting is on that list.
Tell you the guy that's teetering on that list is Tucker.
Tucker's been bad lately, but Tucker's body of work is why I have him in my top 7. So after that, okay, Trey Mancini, okay, Christian Vasquez. Like, whenever we're talking pass fell at the deadline, 713-780-ESPN, if you want to let us know. You just added 2 top 7 offensive players to this team whenever offense was the weakness of this team because you had a middle-of-the-road runs per game in all of baseball. So now you added 2 guys that are probably top 7 offensively on your current squad. That's why it's a huge pass for the Astros.